So my intention for my niece is just to be the loving family member that she needs and wants.
So Ian, we explored a question yesterday that may be useful with her and with others. You and Annette haven't experienced it. Are you guys open for the question?
Yeah.
And I'll walk through. All right, so here's the question. In one world, sorry, there you will. In one word, with one word, explain the world's state.
In one word, explain the world state.
Yeah,
Peaceful comes to my mind.
wonderful, peaceful.
And that's because my inner world feels peaceful. So yeah.
And as I sit with your answer, I ask, is that what he would want? Is that a world that you would want? Could I see that's something you would want? And the answer is yes. So, what that tells me is that you are aligned. Your outer world and inner world is aligned. In a why? Why? So here's like what's listening for. Is what we're doing is we're asking a question that really doesn't, it's so neutral. There's not much of an attachment or a charge to it. And so it's safe to answer. And what we, what I look for, listen for is what's the charge, because it's common that when we look to the future is positive. It's mostly, it's so deep in us that for what we want is always something good. It's a positive. We want positive things. It's not that we want negative things. And that's the structure, is when we're thinking about negative things but want positive things. And so peaceful is charged positive for me. Now, what we can do, it's like, oh, like really, there's no need for a breakthrough with you, Ian, is where you see peaceful. as if that's what I want a world as well. But it informs me that's what you're bringing to the world.
Like he's choosing it.
Yep. Because he's being it.
Beautiful.
And so if there was another answer, so even with peaceful, the structure is to have them notice the charge of their word. And if they can name the charge, that's even better. Positive, negative, neutral, good, bad, anything that they can name it. Even naming the emotion is really what one word focuses you on. And so we have the word, and we have like a positive and negative to it. And then what we do is we have them, then we ask them, what's the opposite word of that?
Chaos.
Yep. And you'll see is the negative one, it's what we don't want. So it cuts through having to ask, what do people want or don't want? We listen for the charge. And we follow it as if, oh, that's what they want and that's what they don't want. What it does is it gives us a glimpse to the soul. Thank you, Ian.
Thank you.
So a glimpse to the soul. But what keeps coming up for me is at a snapshot in time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did listen to yesterday and I did communicate with somebody else. I listened to the question, pause, and then send them my answer, which I did. Today, when you ask the question, the immediate answer I had was different from yesterday. And so that got me to thinking, okay, so why is there such a contrast between yesterday's words and today's word? And what came to me was, what was I exposed to in a time period just prior to that? So what was still rolling around in my head? So yesterday's word was afraid, and the opposite to that was comfort. Or today, it's curiosity.
Mm.
And the opposite to that is stagnant or stagnation. But it's how we perceive it at that snapshot in time. Because now I'm thinking back, okay, so why would I have said afraid? Well, yes, okay, I did listen to the news and a few things like that. But my life itself, the tasks I was doing in the hours prior to that, had nothing to do with being afraid. Because in fact, I was in comfort, but the word that came to me was afraid because of outside things. So that's me observing the world around me.
Would also say you're being present with whatever is occurring around you in the moment.
And that's what today is. Today, I'm present in my word.
Mm.
Or yesterday, I was present in the opposite, but observing the world. So the world around me was afraid. And yet when I did an autopsy on that, I realized I was in comfort though. Today, my first word was curiosity. I'm sitting in the comfort of curiosity, but I can also see, I'm observing curiosity around in my world.
Mm.
Hear these conversations, my dogs outside, the birds, the squirrels, just kind of observing that. Get out of here.
Nothing to calm one down like nature.
Mhm.
Good morning, Mona. Good morning, Alison. Hi, G. 3 in a row.
Mhm.
Good morning.
Morning,
Good
guys.
morning, Mona.
Welcome, welcome.
Good morning. Y'all sound good.
Mm.
May I ask a question, please? Annette, what do you think? And I know I'm asking think. What do you think it is that had you be comfort yesterday, but not be present, not notice your presence in it, but you could
I know.
notice your observation about the world?
I think I had detached myself from the information I had observed in the afternoon. I said I had listened to some news, and yet I wasn't allowing my nervous system to be affected to that.
Ah, okay. Okay, thank you.
Goodbye, Ian. You have a blessed day.
Goodbye, Ian.
Ian, thanks for coming. Oh, he's already gone. Oh, good. He got the song. Awesome.
So that detachment is being able to observe, because the question was about if you could describe the world.
Mm,
And so is it the world that you observe outside, or is it the world within?
mm. And there we go again with how we receive words, right? Because my reception of the word world is different to what yours is.
Yeah.
And
For
it was
yesterday.
different. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. You finish what you're saying. My bad.
No, it's fine. It's just that it was different also to how everybody else received the word world. For some people, it was very anomalous. No, sorry, not the right word. It was integrated with life. And for me, it's different. I don't see the world as life. It's a part of life. But life is so much bigger. I'm finished. Sorry. Thank you.
That's okay. The perception of that question today, yesterday, I looked at it outside of me. Today, when I got the first word to answer the question was curiosity. It was about me and my world. And then I observed and noticed then the curiosity of the things around me, the living things around me. So it's just,
Isn't now you guys are just speaking about structure,
yeah,
how
yes.
we're orienting to our structures. And right when it's out there, right, it's like, oh, then we're not taking it personal. When it's the world, it's big. It's wide open, right? So there's no charge that's going to put them on the defense for that question. Now, asking them to participate in it is where the charge goes. But it's structure, and that's what you're looking for is a structure. Do I get a sense of it's out there or it's in here? So this is as much of this is more of an exercise for the listener, which is the conductor who is holding the space with the questions. That's what this tool's for. Yes. Can it facilitate breakthroughs? Probably.
I think it facilitates. I think it's a kind of a breakthrough that it facilitates because you can be so detached from it. And then, especially when you're asked what the opposite is, I mean, I couldn't think of an opposite word to the original word that came up for me. And I couldn't even think of an opposite word at the time for mess. And that was very interesting to me. And definitely that was that definitely became personal for me then. So, Jesse, when you say that this is about structure, what I was also thinking about was that for me, it's first about the coordinates. I can't see the structure until I've seen the coordinates.
And with a question like that, it forces you to bring awareness to yourself and the world.
Absolutely.
And that's the first step.
Mm-hmm. And how you are placing yourself in the world at that moment.
Yep.
And you know that saying of Mahatma Gandhi's, where he says, be the change in the world that you want.
Mm.
That's what came to me yesterday. Oh, when on what day are we on today? Thursday. So Tuesday night. And Jesse did the exercise with me.
Mm.
And I agree, and that I think it's a great observation to say that it is only in the now. In the now, it's like so here. They're either going to answer the question or they're not. And so there's places like if they're not going to answer the question, right, then we know like there's a fighting default. And like that's an orientation and that's a structure. But
Yeah.
here it's a snapshot just in time. But I think like in that pause, if we as people are looking for their answer, right, there's a curious in that like in the pause. And I think that's like to the essence of the human, right, as the being is like, are they do they have yes and like curiosity, possibility, or is it just so closed and tight that all they want to do is fight?
Mm.
Mhm.
No. Could it diffuse a fight? Probably,
Mm-hmm.
if we could say it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. Because again, it goes back to structure.
Mhm.
It goes back to charge. And the charge is what affects the nervous system. Is there an entanglement of a nervous system with another, or is it combative?
If it's combative, I think it's still entangled.
I guess when I meant the word entangled, meaning harmoniously entangled.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, I didn't explain myself. I was thinking it, but I didn't verbalize it. So yes, you can be entangled in a combative relationship of nervous systems, where just the mere mention of somebody can just set your charge going,
Mm-hmm.
or the mere
In
mention
either,
of somebody, yeah, it can go the other way, where it just you have
that's right.
appreciation and gratitude and love for somebody.
Yeah.
But there's also the middle in between, the third point, where there's nothing. The name doesn't affect you. Yeah, you know the name, but it doesn't. The charge is very minimal to the point of almost neutrality.
Mm.
And then one has to observe, is it one way or the other? Or is it just sitting in neutral?
Mm.
That's where the wonderful AST process comes in.
So, Jessie, this question entails all the different small structures. How can I put it? It entails everything that we practice being aware of. It's almost like the umbrella. Because of how much you can tell from what's going on with the person at that moment in time. And then you can place yourself, orient yourself, and, in terms of finding connection point.
Mm-hmm. And your listening of how to dance with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where does it need to go?
Mm-hmm.
You're free to go there with it. There's just these tools that we work here, right? Are doorways that could be worked there.
Mm.
So what's the power of one word? Like what's in focusing it to one word versus just letting someone spew out their answer?
Mm.
guess there's power in it if we place power in it.
Not, yes. Noodling that, sorry, Will.
Noodling.
Yes,
Yeah, no, I'm just saying with like one person, right? Like not the world,
Yeah.
obviously. But you know, if one person is saying, like, my word was confused. That was my first word the other day.
Yeah.
And like if I'm placing power in confusion unknowingly, like unconsciously,
Yeah.
you know, then it's like, okay, that's not only my worldview, but that's also where I'm at, and I'm putting power in confusion, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, what if I had made a different choice?
Absolutely.
And with one word, we are
Just kind of riffing there a
simplifying
little.
awareness.
Sorry, Heinz, go ahead.
With one word, we are simplifying our awareness.
Yes, 100%.
Which is a practice, like, which is something people don't normally do.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's autopilot.
So
Yes.
you're breaking the autopilot, because the autopilot is people will just spew an answer to find it.
Yeah.
So in all reality, it's like I'm out there is putting a constraint on you to answer it within one question or within one word.
Yeah.
I'm limiting it, yet you don't feel like you're limited.
Yeah.
Feel like
But
your choice.
I'm also reining in. It is like your choice, and I'm reining in your automatic. I'm not allowing your automatic to go. Because when
The
we
automatic
do, you
take
lose
off.
them.
Yeah, exactly. Automatic pilot, eh? Can just run off like a runaway freight train.
Mm-hmm.
Into whatever destination it's used to going. I don't even know if it's a destination. I think it's more of a reaction, a response to where it's going.
Like a way of being.
Mm-hmm.
Automatic.
Yep. Like
it's really like a victim mode.
Mm-hmm.
Awareness or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And really, it's like, yeah, there's a whole different space when it's a positively charged word than when it's a negatively charged word.
Mm.
Because if it's a negatively charged word, right, it's like, well, we could almost be, it's like, is that the world you want?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is the world you're creating.
Yeah. The
That's
lens
the
through which you're
point.
looking at.
Yep. And it doesn't, more than likely, it'll be a part of the default.
Yep. So the key is keep shifting that, making a new choice every day until the default shifts
Mm-hmm.
into the new choice.
Mm-hmm.
As the unconscious realizes it's safe to choose something different. But that takes time and practice, daily practice.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And it sure does help. Sure does help. Tell you, I'm a far cry from where I was a month ago when I first came back.
So, well, tell me, like, so in 30 days,
Yeah.
what have you noticed in 30 days, Will?
Yeah. I've noticed that I'm definitely calmer, which is what I choose. I choose to be more my authentic self and my false self. And my false self was in full control before. So the shift has been getting back into choice. And by being here, that's helped me a lot with that. Of choosing my state, choosing my word for the day, my intention. And yeah, it's made a difference in my life and my relationship. And yeah, it's just, life is, like Chi says, getting better and better now. If I could borrow that term, Chi. Drying
Once
on
again,
kind of thing, yeah.
it's a symphony, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a big difference between doing by yourself or doing in a group.
Yeah. It's amazing the space that gets created here every morning, every day. Keeps getting better and better, right? Does that answer your question, Jesse?
It does, Will. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for asking it.
May I give a little bit of feedback?
Oh, please. Yes, always.
For me, I could hear your presence in every word that you spoke.
Oh, really?
And it felt like well, it's, when I say presence, I include that the heart leads.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's good. That's what I want. That's what I choose.
It was really beautiful, Will. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Allison. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Mhm. Mhm. So Will, here's a, so it's like, let's say 30 days, right?
Yeah.
Shift to here. Let's call it an hour and a half a day.
Yeah.
Right. So 45 hours.
Okay.
Right. 45 hours in 30 days.
Yep.
So, the other ways that we do it, right, is we join a course and once a week we get an hour.
Yeah. 4
So,
hours.
or what?
That would be like 4 hours in like, 4 weeks.
Right. Yeah. So a month, right? And so it's
Yeah,
like,
ish.
that's 45 is almost a year.
Yeah, I guess so, eh? 1 hour
45
per week.
45 weeks.
Yeah.
So that's the time, that's the velocity that we're working with.
Oh, wow. That's good to realize that. Thank you for shining a light on that. And one word I could say to summarize the last 30 days is home. Like I feel like I'm home, just being here in this space feels like home. Like, remember the whole welcome home, welcome home.
Mm-hmm. And there has been a pattern in the background that if it's not exciting, Will's going to leave.
Yeah. And that's, thank you for acknowledging that. I agree. It's definitely a pattern. That's a structure. And I'm becoming more aware of that now, which is helpful because I don't want to leave.
Right. And it's not only here, but it's like that shows
Everywhere.
up everywhere, right? It's like, I've got versions of mine. They're just not the same flavor.
Yeah, exactly. We all have them. But it's like the power is in the focus, and being here is focus, which is helpful.
And if we were to tell most people, like this is a group meditation, right?
Yeah.
90% of people will avoid it because meditation is what you're supposed to do on your own.
Well, that's what the worldview might be. Doesn't mean it's true.
why and man, the argument point would be, well, then I would say that is true. For you, right? And not pointing at you, but if you can't see anything else, then that has to be a truth.
Yeah, and it might just be a belief, which is kind of like a little lie we tell ourselves.
That's right. So there's a great separation. So I think we have very few truths and a lot more beliefs.
Yes, 100%.
Now,
Agreement.
when we lock them, I'm not sure. There's no difference between the two when they're locked.
Yeah. We believe that they are true. All of them.
And then we sneak out of it by saying, well, that's not true. And it's like, well, you just told me it was.
Or we say that's how it is.
That too, right? It's like, that's the world does it this way, is what you're telling me. It's like, yeah, well, we all know how well that works.
This is how it's always been, or whatever,
Fixed. It's fixing it, right? And then slipping out of it. And that's what the ego does. The ego won't, sorry, like the ego attaches to things, but then it doesn't want to.
Yeah, and it doesn't want to accept responsibility for it. It just runs away. And then justifies. And blames and complains and
right, all the things that, if you think about it, it's all the things that a child is trying to get out of life. One, belong. Two, love. And three, safe. Probably not in that order. It's probably a different order, but it's like safe, you can feel like you belong, and then when you belong, you feel like you're loved.
My word of the day is choose. I realized I said think. Choose. Choose this. Choose home. I get to choose. You get to choose. We all get to choose. It's like that's when you bring the power back. It's when we choose. Because if we're not choosing, then we're choosing by default, which is automatic. It takes willpower to actually choose different, make a different choice than the automatic.
I wonder if it takes willpower or just awareness.
Yeah, I guess so. It's willpower is kind of like a insinuation of a fighting or a pushing or a forcing.
I think it can be. Yeah, it can be there.
It can be, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it still does take will to actually make a choice. You can be aware of something, but not make a choice.
Yeah.
So it still takes some will.
It's the beginning of making a choice, is the awareness.
Yeah. Because when you're aware, then you can actually make a decision.
I think will introduces the catalyst, which is the emotion.
Wow, beautiful.
Good point.
It's and so because everything is about an emotion. It is the emotion is what we want.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's that spark right? I mean, it ignites, right? So the awareness, yes, the awareness first, and then we look for the ignition.
Yeah, the will.
Which is, yeah, just make sure it's pointed in the right direction.
Yeah. Because when that baby sparks, man, that fire lights up.
Well,
Fire inside.
yeah, and it's like when it does that, you're going in a good direction. Now, it's not that direction that you're worried about. It's when it stops, because then the oscillation will come backwards.
Yeah.
So that's an unresolvable structure,
Yeah. So it's
which
just
was
be it.
flowing. It was flowing, and then we went backwards.
Okay. So it's like, what's the will? Okay, so you have the awareness, and then you
Yeah.
realize you want to make a choice. So you use your will to make the choice, and you get into the flow of your choice
That's right. So
rather than the oscillation.
that's right. And so all structure, right? And so yes,
Yep.
awareness. And then what I would say, Will, is like here's a shorter way to look at it. Would be if you're aware of what. Number two, being. You're aware of being.
Being. Okay.
Yeah.
Awareness of your being.
Well, that's what you're
I think-
aware of being.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chi.
I would like to add something to the conversation. I feel that we have to be aware of our own truth. Because the truth can vary from person to person. And then the word truth. I mean, it sounds like the rules. It's like knowing your own rules, which is the root cause of everything of what shapes you. So it takes self-realization, and you get to know yourself. That's what to get your rules, your truth.
Yeah. Great explanation of being. Because who are you? You are a human being. Being. So if I associate words to being is our emotions. Big part of it. Big part of it, right?
Yep.
So it's like how we're feeling, it's how we're orienting to the world. So if we're aware of our being, that is self-awareness. Aware of our being. And then so A, B, and then C, right? Then C is choice, charge, compassion, whatever C words you want. Creator. But it's like aware you're being charged is the beginning, because it's it appears to be the easiest to grasp. There's less resistance because people don't want to talk about their emotions, but they're fine talking about charge.
Yeah.
I really want to stay, but I have to go. This is getting really good.
The gold shows up at the end. The gold is at the end, right? It's like, and unfortunately, it's like we have to go through a lot of waste to get to the gold. Not in I don't mean that in a good way or bad way. It's just, we just get warmed up.
Awareness, being charged.
Rather than starting high and coming down, we start slow and go high.
Yeah. Build up.
And
then it's like a spark.
And the foundation is much more stable when we do that, I feel.
Bye, Annette.
Yeah. Have a nice day, Annette.
Have a wonderful day, Annette.
Yeah, it's like it starts off as a smoldering little wick, and then we spark it up, And the flame starts, and then it starts burning and gets bigger, and here we go, and then we go do our day. Here we go be. We go into being.
So showing up here the last 7 days, how many breakthroughs would you say you've had?
Ooh, and it gets hard to count after a while.
That's wonderful, Will.
And that's the gift of being here daily.
So
ABC.
mine weren't many, but they were absolutely foundational to where I am now compared to where I was the beginning of last week, I would say.
I had a few myself, but each time someone else had a breakthrough, it's like it felt like I had a breakthrough too.
Hmm.
Oh, so now we've taken ours and multiplied them.
Exactly.
So you can do it alone or you can multiply them. It's like,
So yeah, it's like daily breakthrough. Yeah.
exactly. It's like, I think it is. It's like days. So we're having 7 breakthroughs. Yeah, like
In a
7
week.
At
breakthroughs.
least,
Yeah,
if not more.
if not more, compared to 1. So
Yeah.
that would take nearly 2 months. So in 1 week, we accomplished what it would take in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all because
That's progress.
it all got amplified. So
And the
Mm,
great
And
thing
so
yeah,
about
with the group, eh?
the great thing about being here daily is you get to expand on your breakthroughs.
Yeah, and we're creating the morphic field here too, together.
There we go.
and so and it's like and so it's like in 1 month, Will, you had 30 breakthroughs, right? Which would have taken 6 months.
Yeah, or longer.
Yeah, I agree with that, Will.
Oh,
For me, it's it's like when you are exercising,
yeah.
there's a sweet spot with the amount, the timing, the intensity. And I think to really address your automatics, it needs a daily practice, and doing it on your own, not so easy at all.
It takes way longer.
When we're
Way
doing it
longer.
alone,
Yeah.
it limited our awareness.
Yeah.
And the breakthrough
yeah.
we are working with alone, we only perceive from our own perspective. And here we get 4 to 7 to 9 different perspectives, which opens for possible possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the beauty of learning from other, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like when if you read a book, it's by a person who experienced it through a lifetime. You can you can read it in about the whole lifetime. In a matter of
Yeah.
days. Yeah, so you
Yeah.
get all the experience. Yeah, so you can
Yeah.
experience many lifetimes of stories.
Yep.
Yeah, like we do in the group here.
And for me, this is a power of community, right?
Mm.
Open-hearted community.
Yeah.
We expand from each other's stories.
Yes.
A bunch of heart-centered creators here, eh?
Mm-hmm.
in love with being
Mm.
one together in unity of thought and purpose, of finding greater awareness and connection. So that's kind of what came out.
That was beautiful, Will.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. A little bit of a waxing, whatever they call that when you do poetry.
Mm.
Power
That-
of storytelling. You know, that when we tell our story, and that's our history. You know,
Yeah.
the history they learn that it's not about our history. You know, it's their history.
Yeah. His story or her story or
and
Our
it's actually
story.
about our presence.
Yeah.
Being opens the door to doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We think it's doing is then being, but not the case. You can make it work that way. You can work that way. So when people tell you about what they want, what do you listen for?
Authenticity in the tone, connectedness in the tone of the voice too. If I can feel their heart in what they're saying,
Mm-hmm.
just like I could feel Will's heart.
I'm gonna have to head off, guys. So hope you all have a great day.
You too, Will.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Will.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I will.
What do you listen for, Jess?
First, future, expanding, and positive.
Wonderful. I'll add those on. Thank you.
I've always it's just what I see is like the word want is it implies so what's the opposite word of want?
Don't want to reject.
Yeah. Interesting. So I'm just
What?
playing with it myself. A want and have is the opposite, is an opposite.
Yeah. Or is it?
Yes. Yes. Very good.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
And where's have?
Have is right there, present,
Yeah. And had.
past.
Uh-huh. What's the future version of have?
Want.
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, like we play it from different angles to say, okay, do we get back to the same thing?
I think
And yeah, Chi.
I think being neutral is having, because
Mm.
again the zero is for me it's a completion, you know, because it's a full circle. It's from there you can have everything.
That's right.
It's not putting any limits.
Yes, I completely agree. Our starting orientation, and I mean like starting, it's like every new circumstance, every new situation is a starting position.
Yeah, because neutral, you know, it sounds like new trial, you know, it's
Yeah,
new beginning. Yeah. Neutral is a
eh,
two word, new and
that's
trial.
right. And you know, and spending time in our heart takes a lot of energy
Mhm.
when we're first starting out.
I was just going to say, when you first
Because
start out.
because we have all this resistance running the other way. We've got to redirect that. And we can only do that a little bit at a time. And so to do it more frequently shortens the time.
Mm.
Isn't that a truth?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most people are so like are afraid of neutral.
Mm.
Of the zero.
Yeah, we we attach, yeah, negative words with new with zero.
You sure can.
Yeah, we forget. Oh, we're taught. We've been lied to, you know, all our life.
Yep. And so when we put a word out there, say, give me that word, and then give me the opposite. If what you notice is you've just drawn a whole circle around how they view those two, the relationship of those two words. So what you're reviewing is the entanglement. They are telling you their entanglement between those words. That's the view that we get if we're listening for it.
Mm.
Like in Denmark, we don't have, you know, A, B, and C for grades. We have from 0 to what is it, Heinz? 11 or 12. 12,
Mm.
yeah. So 0 is a bad thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We learn to yeah, attach.
That's right. Most people think zeros is a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's it relate to? It relates to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And if you think of zero, it's like, oh, I can't ever allow myself to have zero. We've been taught that I can't have zero.
Yeah. 0 in Denmark is, you know, not passing.
Mm-hmm. When it's more of just a computer program, right? It's like a zero it's just information. We allow the information to flow through zero, and then we decide which direction we want to go with it. And when we're aware, we usually say, I don't want those bad emotions and feelings anymore. I want to experience more good ones.
Mm.
And then we go look for some great guru that's got a lot of followers that charges a lot of money. And then we jump into that program and maybe get 10% better.
And then when we don't get better enough, then we're told that we're not working hard enough.
That's right. That's right. Because look at everyone else that's only gaining 10% out of it. But I, the king, got where I wanted with my model. and you just can't get there with yours.
Yeah.
Sucker.
Because you're not working my model well enough.
That's right, sucker.
So pay me more money and I'll show you where else you can work.
Ooh, Allison, I'm going to let you in on my inner circle for $20,000. My inner circle. Then you really get to work with me.
Yeah. It's just awful. No, the world needs diversity, I guess, right?
It sure does, right? It is the model that many are using.
Mm-hmm.
And those that it's working for don't want to change it.
No.
So it takes the people paying to change it.
Mm-hmm. People that work pay.
Unless they're going to maintain that they are predictable.
Guru is just another word for master, you know. And there are many walking, living, dead masters, you know, and
yes,
a lot of them are fake.
Mm-hmm.
And or teaching a structure that's fake.
Mm.
An unresolvable structure. And what are all they're offering is breakthroughs. Right? So if we can teach people how to facilitate their own breakthroughs, and breakthrough in every conversation they have,
Then they'll become what every master wanted them to be, their own master.
Yep. You see the structure, the dilemma. It's like they're teaching you to do it, yet they need you to teach them, right? And it's like, so the ego, it's easy for the ego to get lost in that. And when the ego takes over, we know that the heart fades away.
The goal is the self-mastery. Yeah?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all got different ways of doing it. And I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong. I'm saying, look at the structure.
Because one's efficient and the other isn't.
That's right.
Yeah.
And if they keep trying to get you to pay more, you can kind of know what kind of structure they're in.
We can learn a lot from other people. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we have to be our own master.
Yep. Man, it's up to us. We have to, but first of all, it's like no one can ever speak directly to our structure. Only we can, because we are aware of the words and the feelings that go into it. Now, that's the thing, as we talk about them, the way we view the world will resonate with people so that they can see their world. That's giving and receiving. And what are we giving and receiving? Breakthroughs. Compassion, choice, freedoms. And that's pretty cool. I would have never thought that it would have been in here to find, because I fought it forever. I always thought someone out there has got the best next good thing, right? Spent a lot of money chasing it. A lot of money.
And there are many of them.
Yeah, well into the six figures.
Wow.
That speaks to commitment. And so all
And
you had
when
to do was change your commitment from the outside to the inside.
Yep. Now, did that take faith? Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And you'll like sit here today and it'll be like, well, show me the proof that it worked. And it's like, well, you wouldn't believe the proof if I told you.
Mhm.
Because what you're seeing of what you'll be looking for is looking for how it connects to what you want. That's what you'll be comparing it to.
Yeah.
Which is just the structure. Which is just saying, well, you can only give me what you got. Which is true. But my outcomes won't be your outcomes.
Mm.
And they never will. And that's the facade, right? People are promising these outcomes, and it's like they're
Yeah.
no way.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you can like bring it down to focused on it, right? I mean, that's what we do with it with awareness. Like breakthroughs happen all the time. We just don't have the awareness to call them that.
Yeah, I was going to speak to that just now in terms of breakthrough. You know, we've all got different experiences, and it means different things to us. And what I was going to say about it is that you can have a breakthrough, or what I've often observed over the years. People have these enormous breakthroughs, which I think is more akin to what I would call a cathartic experience. And that lasts for a very short while. And the reason why it doesn't continue to expand is because people then don't have a structure to work with in themselves to go and do something different and new, which, exactly as you said, Jess, what you listen for the expansion. Anyway, that's what I was noodling in my head. And for me, what I find interesting with it all is that, when I started working, there were a lot of groups that did all these had people go through all these cathartic experiences. And what we know now from the science is that that's keeping it in an unresolved structure. Because all you're doing is recalling the trauma. And so you're strengthening the network, the neurological network around the trauma. And so you keep on vacillating from the one extreme to the other, and you never find the middle ground, which allows you to build something new or different. And that's the beauty of doing this every day, is that you are reminded all the time of where you are. Where are you? Where do you want to be for the, as you go into your day? And for us, it's in the morning. For others, it's in their afternoon. So how do they go into their evening, which then spills over into the following day and their morning?
I mean, we've all. So horses are wild. And the term they use is to train a horse is called breaking. The horse is broke, which means it's broke, which means you can ride it. Now, just see the relationship to that.
Good point.
Now, to go from a wild horse to one you can ride, right? A wild horse to one you can ride just doesn't happen. Like there's actions that happen along the way every day, right? To get into a space where a horse and a rider can enjoy the moment. That would be together. Now, we don't necessarily think, well, does the horse enjoy this? Probably not, because it went through being broke to get there, right? To like, but who knows, right? Anyway, there's a guy called the Horse Whisperer, right? That connects with the horse,
Yeah.
rather than breaks the horse.
Yeah.
So different.
Yeah.
Yes.
We can't go around, try to break our own ego. We have to get to know the ego.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You're going to become the ego whisperer, Chi.
Well, you can do that, and you can do it in a wrong structure. Because the structure is underlying, right? It's not necessarily what we put attention to, but it's in the underlying foundations, in the fundamentals. A group I was involved with before this, like that was their model. He dissected this guy's technique and said, oh, if you are joining with an animal, I'm going to teach people how to join together. Great, yes. Without addressing the structure. And what's the structure? The structure The structure is what people put their focus on. Right. And so it takes some time to get in and see, like, okay, what's the structure here? But the structure, and I'm not bad mouthing, I'm just saying this is where our disagreement came to, which is why I'm not there. The disagreement came to the point of they said, well, just change your story. And I said, no, you need to address the emotion.
Absolutely.
That was the disconnect.
Your ego
So,
can go all over changing the story.
yes. Because the structure isn't changing. You're not changing the underlying structure that the ego came from.
Mm.
Which was?
The emotions.
Oh,
Mm.
okay. Thank you. Oh,
Because if you just think about it, it's like, well, did your emotions develop before your words, or did your words develop and then your emotions?
emotions are then the way before. You didn't even have a word for the emotion. You just had the experience.
There you go. So all of a sudden you had the experience and now you start attaching words to it.
Yeah.
That's the structure.
Yeah.
Oh, and was your heart there before your words were? Heart is the first thing we can identify. As you were developing, the first thing that we could see is the heart.
Yeah,
Well before the mouth. Well before the words.
Yeah.
Right? Really, the words don't begin to make sense until what, around 6 maybe? Like you can really like put a full sentence together that's coherent, that makes sense, that's like has potential. The rest of it's just repeating, regurgitating. That's all our stories are, is somebody else's that we regurgitated. So they're not ours. They're not even ours. So then what we do is we just go around changing our story and still feel like shit on the inside.
Mm.
And in reality, here, to give it credit, it's like, yes, we do feel a little bit better when we change our story.
Yeah. Yes. And look how we treat nature, you know. It reflects how we treat ourselves, you know.
Yes.
Like we have to tame nature, you know. We don't have to tame nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nature can keep its own balance. And then we try to tame each other, you know, and then we see people in rodeos and try to tame the animal, and it's not working together with animals. It's not working together with ourselves or with nature, you know.
And if you're really listening to me, you're gonna fill in the blank for me, because we're really good at giving and
Receive. What?
And I think we're a lot better at giving and taking, which is what we're doing with the world.
Yeah.
With nature.
Yeah. With each other.
With each other. Yes.
Yeah. That's very true for me.
It's like, the word's not cheating, but it's like, what advantage can I get over you? That's like that's what's in big society today.
Dominance.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Competition, right? Beating, winning, right? All of that is like, oh, look at the advantage I have over you, because that advantage means my life will be better. See the structure?
Yes, and that's why Oh, there was something that came earlier. Sorry, Jess. But that's why the story, changing the story,
Yes.
is such a
Yes.
slippery slope. If you're only doing that, the change needs to come from the experience of being able to dance with the emotions before you can change your story. Because if you're just working with words, you're working with your mind.
Mm.
You're not working with your whole body.
Yeah. We
And
have to be
that's
it.
the difference.
Yes. We have to act like it, be like it, and you know.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's
Doesn't
like
help.
we're ignoring the heart that was there first.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Like that doesn't make any sense.
Like saying you just got shot in the lung and saying, "Ah, the bullet just grazed me." Don't change the fact that you've been shot in your lung.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And what it does is it ignores what is.
Yeah.
It invalidates what is.
Yeah.
And what that's saying is that it says at the deep level says you're wrong, you're not right. That is what it's saying. Yet at the end, yet they're saying, "Oh, you can, you know, whatever." But it's like it's not validating what you came. Like the story that you have is not valid, and that's so bullshit. We have to address the story we have.
Mm.
Go deeper.
Really, we have to look at the opposite of what it's like the story we have. We need to look to the opposite, and that's the best way through it because what we don't want is what we want. Like through it, it's just the opposite.
Mm.
So we have to use that information to say, oh, like, oh, that's working, but it's like that's not the feeling I want. What's going on?
Yeah.
And yes, you change the story, but you change the feeling first and then look to the story.
Yes.
Because the
Exactly.
feeling will guide your story rather than your head guiding your feelings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in the end, I mean, there's something. So it proves for me then evidence. The heart is much stronger than the ego. We just don't realize it. Ego's more noisy.
Yeah.
Make a hell of a lot more noise than heart.
It is. It's the shy, timid one that's very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fine. It has so much patience.
Yeah.
And chi, like you said, it's a neutral charge. It's just information. That's why we don't take it serious. That's why we don't believe it, because it's just a neutral charge, and we can't believe we can find the answer in our neutral.
Yeah.
And we don't believe that emotions matter. Not everyone, but that's like the consensus of North America's work culture,
Mm-hmm.
which is why well-being has shot to the top of the concerns
Mm-hmm.
for a while during the pandemic. Now it's kind of like pendulum is swinging back, right? So it's swinging back to, oh, let's get back to productivity like we were.
Yeah. As if the mental well-being wasn't a concern before the pandemic anyway.
They never really been concerned about that.
Yeah, I would agree, don't
If they had, there would be fireside everywhere.
And exactly right. It's like when the machines came about, right? The humans felt inadequate to the machine.
Yeah.
So we felt as if we had to compete with the machine. there's no way, right? There's no way. And then it got where if we could use the machine, that's what was our advantage. Yeah. And that's where we're still today. It's like, how do we use this machine, whether it's AI or not? It was fascinating. I worked with my daughter, there's a big thing. Well, you can't use Chat GPT, in schools. Big thing, right? A big concern, big thing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, what a disservice that automatically is.
Absolutely, I would agree.
Now, from the ethics standpoint, how you use it matters. And you can't just blanketly assume people are going to use it the same. So my daughter comes in and says, all right, this is what I wrote. So first of all, she thought through the process. And then she asked us, she's like, well, is this right? And both me and mom are like, I don't remember that. I was like, but how would you ask Chat GPT? Because that's what matters.
Yes.
Not what you do with it, it's what you ask it. What's your
That's right.
intention for using it? And so she says, well, let me do it. And it's like, fine, you do it. You go do it. And I said, okay, how did you use it? She said the ChatGPT gave, and I looked at the answer. And so ChatGPT gave a long answer. And she says, give me that in 2 to 4 sentences. Boom. And then she's like, okay. And she's like, I could see where my mistakes were in my sentences.
That's amazing.
Really, she could see the mistakes in her thinking and she could adjust it that quick, not having to come and wait for the damn teacher to correct it.
Yeah.
Instant. Isn't that learning? And isn't that learning much better than a teacher that you'd have to wait and get the grading from?
Yeah.
That's the feedback. No, this is instant feedback. So why are we afraid of that when the rest of the world is engaging it, embracing it, and doing unethical shit with it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh.
And then we tell our kids we can't use it just because we don't know how to use it. I mean, you see the defenses avoiding it, afraid of it. Like the nature of it is just to dismiss it for some, and some people are engaging it like crazy.
Yeah.
I've deflected it, I was like, I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to work with it. Do I really want to give it everything I'm thinking, feeling, believing, seeing, wondering? Do I really want someone to have that? Yeah, something's going to train the models. We can either have it ours or it can be theirs. It's a tool, just a tool. And I'm afraid it'll be a tool that if we don't know our emotions, it'll just be a tool to control our emotions, which we also know is a distraction.
Sorry, Jesse, say that again. If we don't know our emotions, it will become a tool that can control our emotions. Is that what you were saying?
Or distract them, which is the same thing.
Okay.
Distracting the emotions is controlling them. Right? Giving you instant satisfaction by distracting you, right, is the reward. It's like people are leaving their world and joining another world. That's what's happening. They're leaving their world to join another world.
So true.
And if we don't understand our emotions, if we don't understand our inner guidance, what's going to guide us?
Yes.
That is
Yeah,
not
that-
something, that is not an instinct I want to lose,
Agreed.
because I don't think life exists without it.
Mm.
Because my life is energy. It's energy in motion. Energy
Yeah.
in motion is an emotion. Emotion. And if I didn't have an emotion, what would life be?
AI.
That'd be a machine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the news is. Nothing else but a weapon of mass distraction.
That's right. And we're building these machines that have to be charged up. And we're giving all our power to the thing that still isn't efficient to run itself. So the thing that is efficient to run itself is now frustrated and angry because they can't figure out how to build itself. What the fuck?
Mhm.
What the? Really? Like, do we not like see this?
I
Apparently
showed you a
no.
long time ago with Terminator. Machines that built themselves.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, how do we want them to build themselves? Do we think laws are going to do that? Do we think the governments are going to be ahead of it? No, it's the
No.
stuff we train them with is what gets them there. And I sure don't want to train them with what the world is today, because that's just going to solidify that structure longer.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck? No, ask ChatGPT what it is you want. Ask AI, what do you want? Notice its answer.
Have you ever done that, Jess?
Yes.
I'm going to go and do that today.
So where does it get its answers? ChatGPT or any AI, where does it get its answers?
From everybody that's been engaging with it.
To the majority.
Mm-hmm.
So if it reads mostly the same, like it's all it's looking for is the tendencies, right? The frequencies. It's looking for the patterns.
Mm-hmm.
Patterns are to be predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Where is creation in predictability?
It's not.
And the important thing is why.
No evolution in it.
One is looking backwards and one is looking forwards. A machine can't look forward.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need the emotion for. That's the guidance. The learning was what didn't feel good.
Yeah. So
The
how
machine
do
doesn't
you,
have that. The machine just looks for the most.
yeah.
The common denominator.
Yep. So aware of your being. And it's like, well, what is my being? That's your energy. It's your focus. It's your emotion. It's your time. It's your space. It's like aware you're being automatic, predictable. And yeah, AI will eat you for lunch.
Mm.
That's what resisting change means.
Mm. You amplify the resistance. And so you amplify the implosion, INP.
Control, contain it, right? All the things to minimize it rather than allowing it. That's why I think allow sits at the doorstep of neutrality, of neutral.
Yes, yes.
I don't have to agree. I just got to allow.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like I had, some breakthrough today.
Mm.
Yeah, because you guys helped me break down some of my old beliefs.
Mm.
So with a breakdown comes a breakthrough.
Mm.
It is because we let go of the breakdown.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it and excuse me, when you see it and then see it from another angle, just one other angle, that's how you can let it go. That's how it's like in one view it is a breakdown, and in another view it's a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And time may be what is needed between them. Not always. That's not predictable. And the breakthroughs, like the intensity of the breakthrough is not predictable. Breakthroughs are predictable. The intensity is not.
Mm.
The structure of a breakdown or a breakthrough, the structure of a breakthrough, right, happens. Now, only afterwards can we say whether it was, only then can we give it the intensity. Duh. Why would I think it was any other way? Weird. And we still can't grasp how it really is. Because we were just introduced to it, right? In the old ways of how we were thinking about it, like flushed in with new possibilities, and then whoop, they're gone again. Like the tide comes in, and all we're doing is just creating some new pathways in your brain, and then it'll go back to the old way. Oh, bring in a new one. That's what every day is. We're like a tide here.
Mm.
Closer to our heart and then farther away. Closer to our heart, farther away. Whatever we want, we get closer to, and then we'll go. But what's the trend?
Wow.
That was good. I like that.
Rising seas.
Oh,
And now that can trigger you in a whole different direction. But awareness, I pull you back.
Mm.
I pull you back to the tide, right? Breakthroughs. And then everything's got to settle again. So after a breakthrough, things have to settle.
Mm.
I call that the processing, right? There's that processing time. And
Yeah.
shoo, like when is processing time over? You just kind of, you're like, oh, I'm done. It like just hits you. I'm done. Ah, fascinating. You know, it was like 6 months probably since I had a real big one for mine. And it, you know, it happened just a couple of days ago. And I know it was big because it lasted more than 24 hours. It was a day and a half. Now, big ones will last weeks.
Yeah.
At first, they would last weeks. I mean, that's disorienting for weeks. It's like, what's happening here? Well, all the stuff that I held on to so tightly was letting go. New resistances that I've avoided that weren't so strong were coming up to the top. Dealing with them, going through them, letting them go.
Yeah.
That's why at first you are on some rough seas at first.
Mm. With releasing,
Yes, releasing them.
another thing to follow after, yeah, is the,
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it. Yeah, yeah, like you said, it can take time. Yeah, there's many layers of releasing.
That's right. There are, and they're interconnected. They're entangled. So you'll lose one, and then it kind of like as that one disappears, it pulls another one into the spotlight.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, that's one I got to face again at some point, right? Or you see like, or you'll go like, ah, I dealt with this one. It's like, well, just not to it. Now I'm going to a deeper level. I mean, we expect that we just do it one time, it's over with, rather than just allowing what is.
Mm. Yep. Yeah, when there's a saying go, you know, when the sun shines, ships come to the surface. So yeah, suddenly you have a lot of shit all around.
Yeah, sure can.
Yeah, after releasing, there's still some work to do.
Mhm.
it's like adjusting to sea legs, right? When you're on a ship, when you first get on,
Mm.
your legs can't carry you that efficiently. Takes a while.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I experienced that, you know, being in tough weather for weeks.
Yeah.
Out the open sea. Wow. Your body have to adjust.
Yes. It's a whole new nervous system that one's working with.
Mm. Mm.
I loved what, I can't remember if it was you or Jesse that said about the layers in a breakthrough. Because there's so many when we experience a big one, but we forget about all the little shifts that had to take place for that big one to happen.
Mm. I think it was Jesse who said that. So true, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we can't
And-
hurry. We have to take it step by step, physically, mentally, to incorporate the shift.
Yeah. I think the more we're able to open the heart or quiet the ego, because that amounts to the same thing, I think. And
This is such a good conversation. Yeah. And I've been struggling with my shift. Shifting from the beliefs of lack and limitation,
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Not just something I could do overnight. It takes time to incorporate into your being.
Mm.
Well, I don't know whether I'm doing it wrong or I don't know. Yeah.
By allowing the experiences of it, yes.
Mm.
By seeing them for what it is, letting it go and saying yes to the next moment.
Mm.
Yes, and what's next?
Yes.
Yes, and next. Or yes,
You're right.
yes, and next.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
So I'll go with my word of allowing magnificent.
Mm.
Oh. That's expansive, so I'll have to choose expansive. Thank you, Jesse.
Mm.
It's a gorgeous phrase. Love it.
Yes. Wow.
I'll go with the word layers.
Ah.
Yes, that is what we're breaking through.
Yep.
By allowing, no force, just allowing, seeing it for what it is and what it could be.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that play. Seeing it for what it is and what it could be. That's an automatic, that builds the structure automatically.
It's a
No
great
attachment.
replacement.
Mm.
Thank you so much for this morning. Sorry, Jess.
Just aware. So here's one. What is and what could be. Number two, what is or what could be. Number three, what is but what could be. What did you listen?
First and second.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, I made a choice. So that's what I listened for, was my choice.
Mm. Huh, let's look at your starting position. Nice. Choice. So which one do you want to choose? Wonderful. What did anyone else hear?
Possibilities.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Chi?
I would choose to, what is it, what could be.
Ah, do you see how Allison's informed yours? Allison informed your listening.
Mm.
Maybe it was your automatic. Like, sorry for the assumption.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I listened to Allison, yeah. And yeah.
So here's what I did is I said I changed I changed and replaced it with or, and then I replaced it with but.
Yeah.
And it was like you chose. It was like I want 1 and 2. It's like great. So you want the and the or. You don't want the but.
No.
Yeah. And Heinz said it was a limitation, right? Because the but is the most limit. It's the biggest limited one there is. And so when people say it, they automatically are limiting themselves with whatever they say is right after the but. It's like that's their limit. That's how they're seeing the world as limited. Or if it's an or, if it's or, then there's a choice, right? There's a choice, but the limiting the choice to A or B. And is the widest open, and says it can be this one and it can be that one. You can choose both. That's how our words have space. You guys don't listen to that all the time?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I thought you
I'm
did.
aware of that but if when it's holding up, it's holding us back.
Yeah.
And
Those are, and that's why I say is like for people to start with start with your automatic no. Like that's the awareness. It's like a start, and how do you say that? Is like replace your no with a yes. And people, and so you'll see is like people will resist that more than likely, or they'll engage and be like, I'm going to try it. Because the point of it is try to say yes to something you definitely want to say no to. That's a creator, that's a magician. And that's not how we're living our life. That's what could be. And then you got the time tenses, right? For time, it's like, is it past, present, or future? It's like the words, the tense of the words will tell you, and the ego uses them to get out of sticky situations. So, Allison, you've asked me like, what do I listen for? It's like this is what I'm sharing. What I listen for, like that's expanding or closing space. And then I listen to what like what words grab me. Right? That's what like they grab. They bounce out. They stick out, and it's like I'm listening for. It's like, what's happening with the? Is it a grab or is it a like spot like a easy? It's like a real gentle awareness. Oh, both of those mean something different. So I'm looking, is it resisting or is it flowing?
Mm.
And that's what I'm listening for. And like in the tone, just all the things that you spoke. Let's see, what else? And I love it because we practice here not seeing everyone. So we're not influenced by what we're seeing. Because that plays a bigger part in what we're doing. So we're focusing on other aspects of our listening rather than what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Because you imagine how much goes into seeing and our automatic patterns. Yeah, the senses will the seeing will override.
Yeah, smoke coming off it. It must be hot.
Yeah, yeah. These bodies that are just amazing. Yeah, that self-generating energy. You don't have to plug us in, yet we're looking up to things we do. We're giving power to things that we do have to plug in.
Yep. So we
Where's
give
the power? Yeah.
We give the power to the external before we bring it in, instead of the other way around.
That's right. And not until we get it right into the right structure from inside out will whatever we do be the same structure. Now, is it the right structure? I don't know. All I'm saying is let's look at the structure that's being used. And just because we add a new tool to it doesn't change the structure. We're always looking for someone out there to change it, for them to change, and then we'll change. Or we're never looking at us to do the changing. But that's how we change the world, is one heart at a time. We notice what we're doing, we say we don't like that, and then we do something else. Our problem in society is allowing that first step, that openness, that vulnerability, that, oh, I might feel something.
And I would add to that, Jesse, for me, is to keep on doing that. Because it is very often happens, and it's easy for it to happen, that you open your heart and you don't manage to get what it is that you need. And if you keep on doing it and it keeps on going the wrong way, you stop opening your heart.
Yep. You got to feel it you got to feel it one way or the other. It's just, which one do you want to feel? And it is true, because we are constantly, the automatic is to look for the validation out there. It's so deep in us.
Until we learn to work it from the inside out. It is an enormous challenge, because as you spoke earlier this morning, we don't adopt our own words, we adopt the words of those around us.
And that's taking what's out there and stuffing it into what's in here.
Yeah.
And so in reality, that's like what the full circle for me is like. That's what that question does. It allows people to see and share how they relate to what's out there.
Yes.
And so you're hearing, or you're listening for, is it coming from in here, or is it what out there has told them? There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that question is, in one word, describe the world.
And now we went full circle to where we started today.
2.5 hours ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to go.
I do
Thank you
too.
so much.
Thank you
Thank you
all.
all. Have a
Wonderful.
pleasant day. Love and
Bye.
hugs.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.